I'm looking for a lake home within 45 minutes of the Twin Cities, staying on the North Suburbs. What can I expect? What should I be looking out for?
So a couple of great areas would be Forest Lake area, obviously going to be a little bit more. If you go a little further north, get to the Chisago Lakes area, you have a variety of lakes, kind of a chain of lakes. And, depending on what type of buyer you are, if you're looking for that seasonal cabin or looking for that cabin, you're going to find 1,000 square foot probably or less. And 350 to 550 range, I would say, is probably the price point you're going to be with something like that. Could be seasonal, could be year round, depending on, the price point you're there. Now, if you're looking for maybe, let's call it a starter lake home, you're probably that 500 to 700 price range. And then for larger lake homes, something like that, you're closer to that 750 to $1 million plus. So
Yeah, I think the big thing for people to realize is the farther outside of the Twin Cities you get, much more cheaper it's going to be, right? If you're sticking to wanting to be close to the suburbs within kind of driving distance, usually 45 minutes is kind of that time range for having a full-time house.
cabin.
That's
Yep.
going to push you kind of to Chisago Lakes, chain of lakes, which I think have some of the really best value of lakes on the north side of the Twin Cities.
Yep.
Coon Lake is another good option. As soon as you start getting closer into the Forest Lake area, the Forest Lake itself gets to be a fair bit more expensive. Being
Yep.
that it's 25 minutes from the Twin Cities. Get even closer, you get into White Bear. Some of those larger lakes, kind of really in that inner ring of the Twin Cities, become really, really hard to come by as far as price range is concerned, right? Bald Eagle, White Bear. But I think right where you get that 45-minute kind of mark, you're starting to get some really good value into being able to fit into a full-time residence house in the 750s, I would
Yep.
say, 600 to 800 kind
800,
of price
correct.
range.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong, there are things at 800 to 1.3, in the Chisago Lakes kind of area. But I think that's where you kind of get the best bang for your buck, is sticking around those areas. But I think the main lakes are going to be is Coon.
Yep.
It's Forest Lake, right? Kind of White Bear Lake is great, really expensive.
Inside that half hour to the metro, you start getting out. Then, like the Chisago Lakes area, you have Green Lake, Little Green, Big Green. Then you have Chisago and South Lindstrom, which then also connect to North Lindstrom. And then the channel is open on a seasonal, I guess we'll call it at this point. But that connects to North and South Center, which are great recreational lakes, deep, great fishing, water skiing, everything you can want to do on the lake.
Yeah, and also I think knowing this as you're doing your lake home searches, not all lakes are created equal. There are some smaller lakes that may kind of be just boating only, or maybe can't have a boat,
Yep.
but it looks like a lake, and it's like, oh, why is this house so much cheaper than all the rest of them? I'm still on a lake. It's like, well, that's not the same kind of lake, right? I think looking at that is really important, but kind of getting your price ranges of where can you kind of find the sweet spot. What are you to expect? Those are most likely the places I would recommend for somebody looking for a property like that. To find lake home properties like we're talking about here, click the link below.